Welcome to the No.
That's
it gets
simply
worse
not
every
the show.
time.
That's not the show we're doing here.
Welcome to the Luke and Pete Show. It's the Luke and Pete Show. The last show I hosted was a Rambo Reacts with Andy Brassel. I had to be on my form. I was not on my form. Couldn't find my form.
He would have just been like staring right into your soul, thinking, "Are you good enough for this, Donaldson?"
No, and so was proved that I was not. How the hell are you doing, Luke?
Pretty good.
You all right?
I think you are good enough.
Is your Christmas period treating you well?
Pete,
I think you're good enough.
You are enough.
I am enough.
You are enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the Christmas period treating me well? I'll let you be the judge of that.
Right.
When I tell you that last night I went to go and see the Charlatans at the Troxy in East London with you.
Did so.
You didn't stay to the end. Usual story.
Couldn't. Had to get the train, which means I'm fresh as a daisy this morning.
8 p.m. train.
Had to get 8:30 p.m. train. I mean, I would say that Marcus said that they were going to start at 8:30, but they did not come on until 9, did they?
Who could have predicted that from a rock and roll band? Eh? If there's one thing rock and roll's all about, it's punctuality.
It's punctuality for crying out loud. Yeah, but you've got to think about your the end of the show. You've got to think about the people getting the train. There was lots of people on the train on the way back. I actually stood in between carriages, with the wobbly bobbly
in the vestibule.
In the vestibule, but it was is that what you call that part of it?
It's not really a separate section on those type of trains, is it? So it's probably not a vestibule, no.
No. So
I know where you are.
There are train carriages, and then the little kind of like the movable kind of tube in between.
The surf dude bit.
The surf dude bit. So I was on that, but also two doors.
Two doors. That's all you deserve. Is that?
That's all I did. Well, I stood there, and then the doors closed, and then I'm just in basically. I felt like I was in like a phone box because I was surrounded by glass. It was quite comfortable in a weird kind of way.
Your parents had put you in timeout.
Yeah, I felt like I was in the crystal maze.
It means you haven't got to talk to anyone.
Yeah, people were looking at me as if to go, "That's a strange decision, even for a busy train."
Yeah, I think that's on you.
Yeah, that is on me. Isn't it? Yeah,
but what did you make of the show, and what did you make of the people attending the show, Peter?
It was good. You know what? I am not the world's biggest or even medium-sized Charlatans fan, but. It's not. That's not what last night was about. It was about hanging with some friends, watching the Everton Newcastle match on the floor on my phone, and it was about just having a nice time, having a couple of beers. It was very, very cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I just enjoy. I feel the same way that when I went to see the band Rancid in San Francisco New Year's Day evening, a few years ago.
Right.
And they were basically playing the entirety of their seminal important album, Out Come the Wolves, and they and everybody in the crowd were like of a certain vintage, and everyone had a picture of their kid on their phone as their lock screen, and they were really getting down to it. But they were all like slightly older people. Yeah. And same with the Charlatans last night. Everyone was grooving to the Charlatans because they are quite. They always struck me as being. They kind of eschewed the kind of like robust male bullshit of that Britpop period, and they were a bit more wiggy and a bit more fun, and a bit more expressive, I think. And they didn't conform to like we're fucking hard or bastards.
No, because they predate that, don't they?
Yeah.
So Crucials, like their first record came out like late 80s, early 90s, might have been 1990.
But like Telling Stories was their big Britpop album,
and that was in 97. Yeah, exactly. But you're right to say that they had their roots in essentially the baggy movement, which is a lot more about like.
Drugs.
Well,
drugs.
Groove and like dance. It's basically got one foot in dance music. And it's the same with the Stone Roses and other bands around like Happy Mondays like that.
They've got blood on their hands when it comes to the twang.
But I don't think you can blame them for the twang. But what I would say is this though, Pete, and that really comes across with them when you see them live. So it's almost like, yes, they are an indie band of just like older white guys, but it's about the visuals and the groove and people were, and I think it's no coincidence that at that show last night, people were basically dancing in the aisles because we were sat upstairs in the aisles and downstairs. It wasn't like it did become a bit moshy towards the end,
right?
A bit masculine towards the end, but actually it's about dancing. It's about a groove, right?
Yeah.
So that's I think that really comes across in their music, and it's something that perhaps hasn't informed some of their more recent stuff. And maybe you'd expect that because they're older now, but all the way through, I would say up to and including. Stuff they've done like Us and Us Only, which is getting into the 2000s, it's all informed by that. And Telling Stories was, in my view, is probably the most underrated record of the Britpop era, just because I think they just weren't really considered to be Britpop. I just think they were just around a bit before. The same way like you wouldn't necessarily say Radiohead are Britpop or the Beta Band aren't Britpop. It's a different kind of thing. But they also, the one thing you do realise when you watch a band like that with a big back catalogue behind them, it's rare for me. I love the Charlatans, really, really do love them. But I won't listen to like 4 albums of theirs in a row, right? Because that's mental behaviour, right? When you go and watch them live, basically what they're doing is they're saying, look how many fucking tunes we've got.
Yeah.
And it's just bang after bang after bang after bang. And it's a great way to spend an evening, I think. And I think Tim Burgess as well comes across as a very nice man.
He does. I mean, he's kind of like, he's been embraced by the sort of the Guardian, I would say. That kind of vibe, that Six Music kind of, I'm doing a podcast about my favourite albums and all that business and stuff. He works hard.
I've gone off him now. No, but a man he's 56 years old, so he's not a spring chicken. He would potentially have gone down the road a lot of those other older musicians would have gone. Like,
well, you just look at, like, I think bands of their vintage would turn up and sort of go, right, let's maximise the income.
Yeah.
Let's not get 3 big plasma screens on the back.
No.
Let's rent nothing. Let's just have a big curtain with maybe the Charlatans written on it.
Yeah.
But then you've got Ian Brown playing butlins with a music track, a tape recorder. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's also,
possibly some nunchucks.
And basically in between every song denying COVID.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. And
so you can go in different directions.
Tim Burgess spent the whole of the lockdown doing a listening party for lots of his Twitter followers and donating money to charity. Good lad.
Good lad.
Just a cool guy. Always been cool. Always been so. But back in the 90s, he was like the fucking handsomest guy, and just a very, very cool man.
I just never thought he had thick hair then, but I just did not. It's become like a thatched roof now.
It's a big blonde mop.
A big
now.
blonde mop.
He looks great, doesn't he?
He does look fantastic. I mean, we were quite far away, but he does look great.
And that's part of the reason why he looks great.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I did Google image him afterwards, and I think, you know what, he doesn't look 56.
No.
He looks good. So listen, I had a nice time with you. It's the first time I've been, how shall I frame this so you don't get annoyed? It's the first time I've ever been privy to a social event with you of an evening that hasn't related to work for probably plus 5 years.
Well, you know, it works both ways, doesn't it?
You just don't like my personality, is that what you're saying?
You don't like my personality.
Agree, but I'm just asking if you're going to return that favour.
I had a good time.